So today we're working on a CodingBat problem called middleWay. So let me just sort of erase the solution there so I can explain. So it says given two integer arrays A and B, each length 3, so we know that their length is 3. Return a new array length 2 containing their middle elements. So essentially, if you think about it here, it says that we have two arrays length 3. Now, and of course we have B, which is also length 3. So we have 3 for each. And the index here, so it starts at 0, goes from 1 onwards, actually 0 onwards. And one thing you want to keep in mind is that the count for the boxes themselves, which can contain potential data, actually start from 0. And these indexes are nothing but a reference, a means by which you can actually access or look inside what's inside these boxes. So right now, I mean, arrays by default have a default of 0, but right now they have a default of they don't have anything inside. They have 0. And when you actually populate these arrays, and once they actually have values, random, arbitrary values, what the question is telling us to do is it's saying, well, create a new array called middleWay, and the length of this. So what it's saying is what it wants middleWay to consist of is it wants it to consist of the middle elements of both of these arrays. So the middle element for this would be 1. So the first element at that index would be 1, and the first element at this or the second element, which is of course referenced by the first index because 0, 1, we would actually have 5. So that's what this array does. It takes two arrays and then it returns back their middle. And so if we were to actually get into the code here, actually so the way to actually do this is we reference so middleWay, the first, so you can see that we have this array called middleWay, and this too has 0 and 1, okay, which is of course their indexes. So right now you can think of middleWay as having two boxes which are empty. And so if we say middleWay, we're now referencing the name of the array, and within this box, what do we want to put? Well, the 0th index, this is the box for the index. The 0th index, which is of course this box, will contain what is at the middle. Will contain what the middle element of array A. So if we reference the index, which is responsible for referencing the middle element, we now store 0. We now store the 0th. We now store the first element referenced by the 0th index. We now store this number, which is at the first index of array A, which is 1. And we do this again we say, okay, now we're going to populate the second box, which is referenced by index 1. And the second box will essentially hold the second index. Or, sorry, we're going to go to B because we've referenced B here, and it will essentially hold the middle element referenced by 1, because 1 sort of corresponds with that box there, and it will now store what is there. So let's actually code this here. So we want to actually start by creating an array first and foremost. And that array, since we're going to store the middle elements of two arrays, we want to grab one element from each array. That would just be 1. That would just be a length of 2. So we know that it will be integers. It will be called middleWay, and the length of the array will essentially just be would just be 2.